kids and controlling your kids, controlling what they see, controlling their images, and being productive and active in their life, not just putting them in front of a TV. Our TV only comes on if it's educational, and so TV is brainwashing. And a lot of kids are lazy, a lot of kids are victims before they're even old enough to be victims of, whatever, because it's not just a racial thing, it's a class thing, and because I'm in a trailer park, no matter what color I am in, I'm gonna have this type of life unless I do something that is like basketball, that is art. Like, no one in the trailer park, white, black, Mexican, is saying, let me become the best doctor or the best scientist. And that's what we really need in our society. We don't need any more ball players and artists. But if you are one, do what you do. Yeah. Do what you do, but also get the other skills, because you don't want to be a rich, talented idiot. We see enough of that with people like Kanye West and even other people, leaders in our country.
A lot of them are actually following that footstep, not because that's their purpose, but because that's what they're seeing, that's what they're being told to do. So yeah, we definitely need more for you guys. More doctors and engineers and whatever. For us, well, Africans, everyone's being forced to be a doctor, engineer, whatever.
But don't hate on that.
No, it's good, but again, everyone has their own purpose.
Yeah.
Right? So like me, for example, I wanted to do music. I went into sociology because that's what people do.
Well, we say this, and it's biased. Our CNA to MD.com platform that my wife runs, it's nursing is the only thing you can do 3 days of work a week, in the States at least, and you can make $60,000 minimum just working 3 days a week. So the rest of the week you can do whatever you want. Yeah, and if you're talking about being a traveling nurse, you're talking about, even more money, because you say, I don't mind living in Montana or LA or Cape Cod next week. We've been offered, when she used to be a nurse, it was over $10,000 easy just to do that, by an island, whatnot. So we didn't take it, but there's opportunity because I love how Africans all do that. More African Americans need to do that, because the singing and the Aretha Franklins and all that, it's played out. That's a God-given gift. Now learn something that no one can take away from you, that the whole world needs, because there's a real shortage in the whole world. Even here in Canada, there's a nursing shortage. I think it was 1 million last time we checked.
That is true. Actually, side note, I think it's good to have black doctors because, for example, I was taking a first aid course, and they always talk about how when somebody is about to die, they turn blue. But they never talk about what black people look like when they're about to die. So I make it a point every time, like, we turn grayish. Yeah. So something that simple is knowledge that can save someone's life. And if we had more black people in those fields, then we'd make a huge difference, right? So,
and can translate, because sometimes there's languages that people can't translate, and the doctor can give it. There's a doctor on YouTube called Dr. C, S-E-A, and she does it all in West African Pidgin. And she's Cameroonian, and I'm totally biased against Dr. C. Like, I love that she does all her health information in Pidgin, but she lives in Germany, and so we need that, because we need it for all different cultures. Like, you don't just have to speak English and be white, Anglo-Saxon, or Asian. Everybody needs this, and there's so many languages and dialects that need to be able to be expressed.
Yeah. Back to the topic we were talking about with children. I used to work for the daycare. I left my job recently, and we have a lot of mixed race children. So we have 5 children in the entire daycare who are black. Their moms are white and their fathers are black. But one of them, their father is the one who's active and puts them up in the daycare. Okay. So I get to see the father and the 4 mothers, but not the other 4 fathers. Yeah. Anyway, when I did Black History Month, I had so much resistance from everyone. I think I told you this. And a lot of these mothers, they love their children, but they said that they never had the conversation of race with their children because they don't need to. As long as they don't know about it, then they're being sheltered. But I thought that was so wrong because eventually they're gonna come across someone who tells them, I don't know, why is your hair like that? And a lot of them have experienced that. And they won't know what to do, and that's when the insecurities come. So do you think that talking about racism from an early age is beneficial, or at what point did you start with your kids?
We started, I mean, as long as they can talk. We didn't do the goo goo gaga baby stuff. I mean, you know, I still get kisses on the cheek from all of my baby girls, whatnot. But we had real conversations, because I don't want you to go to school and then you learn about this word or how people are going to treat you or what they're going to think about you. So before you even go to preschool, you know, I mean, all of our kids went to school, some type of daycare at 6 weeks, because of the way we move, the way we travel. Even though I keep them all at home, but when I have meetings, you got to go to daycare. And so as soon as you can talk and understand, hey, someone may say some mean things and think they're better than you because of this. My wife and I had that conversation, and her even more so, because she is just waking up as an immigrant coming from West Africa. She's just now seeing it.
Yeah.
For years, she was like, we were in a black area, and the town next to us, they were so used to black people. You might have saw Confederate flags, but you didn't see racism.
Where is this?
This was in Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
This is in two college towns of Louisiana. Grambling, Harvard of the South. I'm going to keep saying that because it's the Harvard of the South. The South doesn't have a Harvard, so I adopted Grambling. But Ruston and Grambling, and they never can even play each other in football, even though football is a big thing down south, because they say it could bring fights into the two cities. So they know racism is alive and well, but they do so well of managing it because they're so used to being around each other. It's like the dog and the cat that live in the same house and they never fight, and you know, at most they might do like a paw or whatnot, and they're just playing. But it's never been like, I never saw a fight between, you know, a real brawl for it all while I was there. But you cannot shelter your kids. But the white women, since they haven't experienced that racism, they don't know. And how do you, you know, ding somebody for something they don't know, and you don't know what the men are saying or not saying, and their experience, whether they're African, Caribbean, born in America, had two parents. There's so many variables. So it's, you know, we know some black guys, once they get a white woman, they just, they take off their whole blackness, and now I'm in the suburbs, I made it. What is black again? Huh? Me? Huh? And the same thing that, you know, black women, some black women do it, some Mexican women do it. When they get white guys and different things, you can adopt easily your spouse's culture. My roots go back to Nigeria, Cameroon, and Mali. But I grew up with West African, so that culture is me. But many people say, oh, your wife trained you so well. I'm like, I was eating fufu, eru, indole, and all these things before I met her. I'm just eating more of it now. And then I have Africans who tell me, you can't be from America. I remember last time being in South Africa, they're like, where are you really from? Right. So I'm like, Sabona, taking the combi bus and talking Zulu. They're like, where are you really from? I said, man, I'm from Oakland. No, where are your parents? They thought I was one of those Africans who left and then came back and was like, oh no, yo, homie G 364, yo. It was like, no, I'm me, and because I've been able to travel, I'm just seasoned. You know, my stew is well seasoned, so I can tell you about, you know, Greece or Italy or, you know, in London eating at a chippy or something. So, but we have to tell them about racism right off the bat so they know, so they can then tell their white counterparts, actually, you guys didn't discover anything. There were people here before you, so how do you discover? Let's look in the dictionary, discover, even as little kids. You guys created this country? Actually, no. The blacks created, you know, the infrastructure, because you guys were too lazy to actually, you know, do some hammer and nails. And even when you had the train station and you freed us and whatnot, you have the Chinese who were doing your work. And you tried to have the natives do it, the Native Americans, but you said they weren't good workers. And so we have to school them, because that's how I hit them over the head. You know, I had friends like that who, I'll tell you a quick story. Sitting with my Filipino football player friend, Manny. I'm terrible at names, so I'm remembering these names right now. Manny, you're just chilling. It's game day, pretty little cheerleader, Tatiana, I think her name was. She came over. You know, him and I, we're brothers. We got the same last name. I'm like, yeah, that's because you colonized his people. He was Filipino, and she was a Spaniard, like part Spaniard.
You said this to who?
The Spaniard said this to the Filipino. Like, this is my brother. It's like, it's not your brother because you have the same last name. Your family were the colonizers of him.
I just got it.
Yeah. So you guys weren't brothers, and she's like, you're such an asshole. That was her real word. Like, you're such an asshole. I said, I'm just telling you. Now I'm like 15, 16, telling her this, but it's like, let's go through the history. Since you want to just come hugged up with your pretty self, like, you know, this is my brother. You're not brothers, but you could be. You could do some, reparations to him personally, but you know,
something as simple as acknowledging it.
Acknowledging it.
And when people get defensive, that means that they haven't fully acknowledged it. They don't want to have the conversation.
People want to forget.
Because they want to move on. So basically, I agree with you. The fact that the parents are not teaching the children, they have the best intention for these children. Because it's something that's scary. And like you said, they don't understand that this is something that comes up, that it's something that they see. And the fact that I'm working there, I actually see a side of these children that the parents don't see. One girl, she's half black also, and she said to me, I want to have hair like my mom.
Okay.
I want to be as light as my mom.
Yeah.
And I've been working with her for a whole year trying to get her to be more confident, but she still has those feelings, and nothing that I can do can actually help her unless it comes from her mom. And that's where I feel like the parents are lacking, where by not having a conversation, you're doing your children an injustice.
If they're not, they are. But every kid wants to be like the parent, and I've seen that too, working with kids in different areas. You know, I want to be like my dad, but I'm not 6'5". And it's like, and you're 5'5". You got your mother's gene on that, right? And you're never gonna get to that.
Right.
So you have to be comfortable, and it's a learning thing. Little kids, it's hard for them to learn because sometimes mom wants to have the hair like the daughter or the skin like the daughter, and say, you know, I'm so itchy in the sun, I wish my skin was more brown in the tanning. So it's just one of those things. But we find that you know, white women, it's hard for them to talk about racism if you've never experienced it. If you've never gone even to the hood, not to speak of a whole nother country. And then if they did go to another country, you know, in many countries they treat foreign women, period, like gold. And if you're white in an all-black country, you may be treated like gold with diamonds and platinum. And that's just a foreigner thing. And that's probably why I love going overseas, because I get that extra attention. Plus, I don't have to worry about my brother shoot me in the back or the police shoot me in the front.
Again, side note, I went to a thing that a friend organized. It's called Melanin here in Vancouver. It was the most black women I've seen in one place. It's just for women, and where we discuss these kind of things. One lady, I don't remember where she's from, but she's African. She said that she's never experienced racism until she came here. So her whole life she's been around black people. Her boss is a black person. The people in leadership positions are black people. Everywhere she went, in respectable positions, were black people. And so to come here and she was an engineer, and she was questioned about, oh, did you come here on a scholarship? Like she can't pay for her own university or whatever. So these stereotypes eventually got to her, and the fact that she's in engineering where it's all women, all men, and the few women there's a black woman, her intelligence was in question, you know? So my point is, I was thinking today, okay.
I think as far as getting thick skin for racism, if you're not the majority, you're gonna feel it. But even if it's not racism, it's tribalism, which is a bigger thing in Africa.
That's true.
Even if it's not tribalism, it's sexism if you're a woman. And, you know, sexism, after all the racism gets done, we're still going to have to be fighting sexism, because men are not going to change, you know, how men cavemanish, some are. And, you know, some have really crossed the line and feel like even if they look like all the people we see in the news, none of them are appeasing. They don't have any type of real sex appeal. It's all that they either have power and money or just money, which can, buy you power at times. But that sexism and the racism and the tribalism, we're going to have to fight all these things. So we really have to find our pockets, the people we like to be around, the jobs we like to do. You can't go into certain fields and say, hey, I want to be a model and I don't want to encounter sexism. You're going to get it. You're going to get sexually harassed, whether you're male or female, because the people who are in those arenas are looking for what's appealing, whether they be gay, bi, or straight, or whatnot. So you're going to get that. And everybody who's gone to any height has experienced it, male or female. The men haven't even started telling all their stories. I'm trying to push them off the cliff, like, tell that story back in 2001. And, men aren't going to, it's hard because you're going to get judged in a different way for a lot of these men who are, powerful, big, strong men, supposedly. This is what gets guys to kill themselves, So I think that if you can get a thick skin for it, great, but also create your pockets of friends, whatever you like to do that is awkward to society, just be around people like that as much as you can, and in a huddle, express yourself. If you're